Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. You don't know, my name's Chad, and we take a dive into sports, and welcome to week 2 of the 2023 college football season preview and pick video. If you don't know, I went 8-4 last week. I did call for an upset in terms of Fresno State winning at Purdue. Didn't see Colorado's winning in TCU. And we also had a couple other major upsets with Texas State winning in Waco and Duke knocking off Clemson on the Monday night spectacular. So what fun and activities do we have planned for this week for college football? 14 games this upcoming week, and we all know the major one. It's on everyone's radar, just where, college game day is going down in Tuscaloosa. But that's not where we're going to start. This week, we're going to start in Raleigh, North Carolina, where the NC State Wolfpack will play host to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who are already 2-0. They open up 7.5-point favorites against NC State. Hartman, who is a graduate transfer from Wake Forest, so he knows NC State quite well. Right now, Notre Dame's offense is functioning well. Now, note, they really not had any true threats to that offense as of yet. So don't get too far ahead of yourself. I mean, you took on Navy and Tennessee State. No one difficult. This is going to be their first true test against NC State. NC State is not a pushover. They should make some noise in the ACC this year, as they tend to do most years now. But I think North Carolina and Duke might have other things to say about, which North Carolina programs will be sitting on top. But Estime and Hartman should be the focal point of the Irish attack if they can withstand, the Wolfpack in terms of their prowess. And they can, like I said, build upon next season, or from last season. Right now, 7.5 for the Irish. No. This is going to be, like I said, a true test to Notre Dame. I think NC State will probably be leading them most of the game. I think Hartman will actually lead a comeback and have Notre Dame edge out a victory in Raleigh. But definitely going to be less than 7.5. Then Utah heads out to Baylor to take on the Bears, who got upset at home against Texas State. Utah didn't look that good against Florida. I mean, the first half was better. The second half, they fell flat. So it depends on which version of the Utes team is going to show up. Baylor, they're definitely trying to rebuild themselves and pick themselves up after getting embarrassed at home. And they're going to try to avoid going 0-2, including 0-2 at home. That's something you want to beat right now. Utah's favored by 8. Let's bring that down a bit. Baylor's definitely going to put up a fight. Utah is one of these squads you just can't really put away. You can't really put your finger on them just yet to say, okay, this is a true favorite. But I think Utah is going to be just enough ahead of Baylor that any type of attack they do is going to be a little bit too late. But I think Utah will win, but it'll definitely be less than 8 points. Then Nebraska visits Colorado, 2 brand new head coaches. Both are opposite ends of the spectrum right now in terms of the win-loss records in the opening week. Matt Rhule had a disappointing outing in Minnesota, while Dion went down to Fort Worth and surprised the nation. And especially with his son throwing 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he had 4 receivers over 400 yards. I mean, the Colorado offense is on point. Now, there's no question about that. Defense, not so much. You take on Nebraska, whose defense is a little bit more important because it did, hold Minnesota down. They just couldn't stop them for that final drive. Nebraska's offense just can't get out of their own way, so that's going to help Colorado's defense, which is, like I said, not that great either. Right now, Colorado's favored by 3. I think ESPN Analytics has Nebraska with a 59% chance of winning. I can see it going either way, but I think Colorado's offense is going to be too much for Nebraska's defense, and there's just too many weapons to go after I mean, especially if Sanders is just throwing a rock to where he wants to go. But for the Cardinals defense, can they contain Sims? Sims is being a very elusive quarterback, dual threat quarterback. And if he runs amok again, they could spell problems for the Colorado. It could actually help him in terms of getting the ball out. But I would also go with Colorado winning at home. I think they're just, right now, this is not a true threat to Colorado's position. Them being ranked this early, I think it might be a little premature, but they'll definitely win and kind of prove they belong in the top 25. In a ranked clash in the Deep South, you have the 20th ranked Ole Miss taking on the 24th ranked Tulane. Now, which version will really kind of step forward that did last year? I think Tulane will probably have a good season. Ole Miss look like they've retooled. Dart had over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns last week. Of course, and they didn't take on a winning special, but I think this one's going to be a lot closer than what's being touted right now. Ole Miss is favored by 7.5. I won't be surprised if Tulane upsets Ole Miss, but I will still go with the Rebels in this one in a very, very close matchup. I won't be surprised if it's an overtime thriller, but I think Ole Miss will just sneak out New Orleans with the W. Then we head down to Miami Gardens and South Beach, where the Hurricanes will play host to 23rd ranked Texas A&M Aggies. And both these programs, once very highly touted, now are kind of rebuilding themselves and trying, make a name for themselves. I went back and forth in this one. Right now, A&M's favored by 4. I would not be surprised if Miami came away with the victory. I think I'm going to go with Miami in this one. I think Miami is going to shock A&M, kind of burst their bubble early in the season. A&M, this is early enough in the season for A&M to recover and make a nice run at SEC if they can. But I think Miami is going to shock them and take the W in this one. I don't know. I just see this one coming. Then we have the battle for the Cy-Hawk Trophy between Iowa and Iowa State out there at Ames, Iowa. Annual matchup between these two. Always entertaining, especially from that region. Right now, Iowa's favored by 3.5. I think this will also be a very close matchup between these two. Once again, I would not be surprised if Iowa State wins this one, but I think Iowa has a little more talent, and they will end up taking the Cy-Hawk Trophy once again. Then we head out to the Alamodome, where the Roadrunners will play host to their in-state rivals from the I-35, the Texas State Bobcats, who are in San Marcos. Pretty much a stone throw away from San Antonio. And both these teams had opposite results. UTSA went to Houston, see if they can beat Houston. Could not. And Texas State, as I stated earlier in this video, upset Baylor at home. And I really would not be surprised if Texas State does it again. The way Finley was playing against Baylor was just amazing. But it's a running attack of the Roadrunners that I think will make the difference. Right now, UTSA is favored by 13.5. I think it will be closer. I think people are not believing the hype Texas State did against Baylor. Maybe they think Baylor's worse than what everyone else thinks. But I will give Texas State a little more credit in that one. I think it'll be closer to like a 6-point game. So you want to take Texas State for the points. You're probably winning, but I'm going to go UTSA for the win. All right, then we got App State heading to Chapel Hill to take on North Carolina. Now, this one should be entertaining. App State is just one of these teams that you just cannot keep down because they always find ways to make a good showing and battle teams. They had, I think, the game against Wake Forest. I was like right down to the wire. I have a feeling it's going to be the exact same thing with North Carolina. They're going to find North Carolina's defense is going to be a lot better. May should have another nice game. Maybe not a 2-interception game, maybe 1, 2 TDs and an interception. But the running attack by App State should be very good. I think right now defense might be stretched a bit. Probably be good at spreading points in the game. I think they should go back and forth for a majority of the game until North Carolina just wears them down. Right now, North Carolina's favored by 19. You see App State being disrespected like this, take the point. But I'm still going North Carolina with a win, but it's definitely going to be by less than 10. So that's just respect to App State. And then we have a NFL-style matchup between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. No, it's not the Bengals and the Steelers. It's the Bearcats and the Panthers. This should be kind of entertaining. Pittsburgh did allow some great plays from their first week. And Jones should be able to take advantage of Pitt's secondary. Right now, Pitt's favored by 7. I'm going Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati could go into Pittsburgh, pull up a nice upset. I think it's just too many wild things to kind of think of. I think Cincinnati offense might be a little bit better. I think Pittsburgh's defense can find themselves kind of in a bind. And I think with the offense performing, it should allow Cincinnati defense to be a little bit play more loose and more aggressive, and then take advantage of mistakes. But definitely calling it Alamodome. I originally had Pitt as my pick. Now I'm going to switch it to Cincinnati. Because it's just one of these games I think it can go either way. But Pittsburgh's favored by 7, but I'm taking Cincinnati overall. In the showdown, Tuscaloosa, between the 11th ranked Longhorns and the 3rd ranked Crimson Tide. Future conference members will go at it once again. Alabama right now is favored by 7. I think it's a good place, but I think Texas will give them a lot to think about, like they did last year. Texas almost upset them in Austin. I think they'll do the same thing again. Ewers is just one of those very unique quarterbacks that should do pretty well. Should battle with the Alabama offense nicely. I think it will be a lot closer than 7. I think it'll be like a 3-point affair. But I will go with Alabama winning at home. But this is definitely going to be a lot closer. I think it's going to be a really entertaining game. And definitely one of those games you probably go sit in front of your TV, making sure you got your wings, your pizza, your beer all next to you, watching it. And then we got Wisconsin heading out to Pullman, Washington, take on Wazoo. Ward last week had over 400 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. It's the Badgers running back and rushing attack that's going to be a big problem for Washington State. Right now, Wisconsin's favored by 6. With how Washington State is built, they're definitely a well-rounded team on both sides of the ball. It's how they can actually handle the pressure and come and step to the plate. They handle things. I think that's going to be the key factor in this matchup. I'm going with Wazoo winning at home, going to 2-0. Giving a pack a unique member sitting on top. But definitely one of those games you might want to keep an eye on. Then we have Arizona heading out to Starkville, take on Mississippi State. Delora should have another quality game, but it's the Mississippi State rushing attack that's going to cause problem for the Arizona defense. Right now, it's a 9-point advantage by the Bulldogs. I think it will be closer in that one. Because I'm going with Arizona to win at Mississippi State. I think they will just edge them out just enough to sneak out with a victory. In a repeat from last year, UCLA and San Diego State will do battle at the brand new Snapdragon Stadium. UCLA kind of a disappointing showing against Coastal Carolina. I think it's kind of the MO right now of Chip Kelly and his squads. But I think UCLA should have a good showing against the Aztecs. Kind of burst their bubble. Right now, UCLA's favored by 14. I don't see it that much. 10, maybe. I think it's about most I'll really go with UCLA because Maiden, almost 250 yards passing last week, should be a good point. Of course, he was a huge running back. If they could control him and make it a single focus player, that should help the Bruins win. But they allow him to do both run and pass. He could get you anyway because he ended up scoring 4 touchdowns for San Diego State last week. So you got to watch out for Maiden there, but I will go with the Bruins. And then we got Oklahoma State heading out to Tempe, Arizona, to take on the Arizona State Sun Devils in a clash of future Big 12 opponents. And Arizona State's a very interesting one. It's just trying to see how they kind of mold themselves and get the team going. Rashada, over 230 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Scapo had only 71, but he also had a score on the ground. So it's a young, talented, offense. Can they handle the experience of Oklahoma State and their coaching staff? I think not. Right now, Oklahoma State's favored by 3. I like that. I think it will be closer because, you can never count out Arizona State. And not to mention, Oklahoma State tends to underperform sometimes. But I like the fact Oklahoma State by 3. I will take that. And there you go. Those are my 14 games. There's quite a few other ones I didn't look at, like Oregon, Texas State. Jacksonville State, Coastal Carolina should be interesting if you like those programs as well. I did not go after them, but we'll start seeing these clashes, interconference clashes that should be interesting to watch before we start getting to conference play, deep in the conference play, which is kind of a few weeks away, but still. Those are my 14 games. We'll see how I do. See if I can, be on par with my 8-4 record from last week. Which game are you looking forward to next week, or this week, should I say? I think Texas Alabama will probably be up there. Which pick do you think I got completely wrong? Just let me know down in the comments below. Once you're down there, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Especially like Kevin provides you. It really helps please his YouTube guys. Really helps promote this video out. You also subscribe. A lot of you guys review my work. Not many subscribes. It costs you a dime. You just hit that bell icon, turn on notification, and let you know the next time I post any more content on my channel. And I will see you next time. We'll chat sports talk.